welcome to the JTM Community Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Melvin. If you are watching this, you already know who our guest for today is. If you are not, we'll get to that in just a moment. So we are going to kick off parts 1, 2, 3, and 4 for this particular series with our good friend and frequent co-host of the podcast, Will Squires. Of course, if you enjoy the content through this series, you can go back and check him out in many, many episodes. I would say he's probably in a good 50-ish% of the overall episodes, which we are in the 70s at this point. I hope that everyone who is not just who is tuning in, but that everyone has had a happy holiday season, has arrived safely to their destinations. I know we're in the midst of a bunch of flight cancellations and whatnot, adding some additional stress. So, and hey, listen to the podcast in your in your downtime and your layovers, I suppose. Without further ado, of course, you can check us out on the website, which is j-tm.community. If you want podcast-specific stuff, you can just add a /podcast to that. All social medias, top right-hand side of that. Easiest thing you can do for your convenience is to join our Facebook page. There's daily posts. Every Monday is a new poll that goes live. Oh yeah, I see it over there. New poll that goes live. So each episode is essentially dictated by you all. Send in your feedback. That'll get turned into options that then go into the poll, and then you all decide what that'll be. For this mini series, if you will, you all have decided for part 1 to be change happens in a moment or over time, and that was tied with gratitude versus granted. Second episode will be fate. Third episode will be holiday impacts and the idea of pay it forward. And then 4 is what advice would you give your younger self? So 2 of those are actually doubles already. So this will be fast and furious. Of course, sticking to our frequent format is a 30-minute timer for each particular episode. So it of course, if you're looking for national and or local resources, you can also find that on our website under community partners. Without further ado, Will, should we dive into this is part 4. Again, part 4, and this is what advice would you give your younger self?
Don't do it. Wait. Oh God. What wouldn't I tell myself to do? I've always thought of myself as a very mindful person, but when I look back on my history as a person, there are definitely places where I could have been more mindful of other people, and I know it's not my job to make other people happy.
You can't.
I know that. I know this, Melvin, but I don't believe it. I know it, but I don't believe it. So I always look back and go, be more thoughtful, be more aware. Is what I would tell my younger self. Is like, be more aware of the situations that you put yourself into, that you put your friends into, and it's not like they've been bad ones, but just be more mindful of things of everything. If I look deep into it, I feel I come from a family who are not only educators, but a lot of them are military. And I think that's one of the things I would have told my younger self is, you're doing a great job you're going to be a great educator, but maybe there was something else that you could have done to keep the world safe. So maybe look into it a little bit more, because I didn't serve. But I had a lot of family members that did. I love the fact that they did, and I respect the fact that they did, and I wish that maybe I would have done the same thing. but once again, the armchair quarterback from on Monday morning, looking back and going, "Oh yeah, I could have been great at doing that. I could have been great at a lot of things, but I chose to do one thing pretty darn well, which is
You're also not done.
educating." So no, I'm not done. No, but with injuries and my age and stuff like that, there's a lot of things that I'm not going to be able to do or looked at as a valuable asset. So there are some things that I probably would tell myself: take better care of your body. Don't eat so many bags of Reese's peanut butter cups, even though they're amazing. But it's just the things that we know now that we look back and go, wow, I really should have moderated this, and I really should have done this instead of this. Would I change any of it? Maybe.
It's interesting as we look back, and again, using some pretty charged words, the idea of
charge me up, baby. Here we go.
Our own self narcissism, to think that if we went back and changed these couple of things, that we know how our life would have turned out or what would have looked different.
No, I don't think that I would have. I don't think it's me doing that. I think the fact that I would love to go back and tell myself to do something differently. I don't know how it would have changed, because maybe my younger self would have said, no, forget that. I'm just going to keep doing what I want to do.
The advice would serve the purpose of simply finding out. Not that this would be a result, as much as you're interested enough to find out what would be the result.
Yeah, what would be the result? It would be interesting to see parallel univeres, like what would happen this, what would happen that. But no, you don't take it all back. Just eat it. I just know that there's certain things that I feel like I would have loved to do. That I either didn't take the chance to when I was younger or didn't put enough effort into. Because I was so focused on doing certain things. Like, I felt like when I was younger, I felt like I had to be the man of the house because my parents got divorced at such a young age that I was like, no, I have to take care of my family. So I grew up really quickly. I got a job as soon as I could. I literally worked through high school and didn't participate in sports as much as I wanted to. And I really didn't do much other than work and go to school from the time that I could get a job in high school until I graduated from college, and then I just continued working. So I didn't get to do a lot of the stuff that I tell my students to do all the time. If you get a chance to travel, go travel. If you get a chance to go learn about other cultures and study abroad, go do that. If you get a chance, if you get the chance and want to take that opportunity, go do it. And those are things that I try to, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about in our last discussion, paying it forward. I've seen where I've made choices that I probably would have changed, or at least, like you said, observe that there could have been differences and see what could have been the outcome, or at least look into it more.
Yeah.
And so I try to tell my students not to do the same things that I did, but to take advantage of the opportunities given to them if they're allowed, or at least look into them. I decided not to go to a D1 school because I wasn't going to play sports. I was going to get a really good education. I was going to be away from home a lot further, about 8 to 10 hours away from home, compared to where I was at when I went to school was 2. Not saying that I didn't get a good education, just it was going to be a different education. I wasn't going to be able to play sports. I'd probably still be up to student debt up over my head. And I chose to go a different path. But I would love to see what that would have looked like. To be able to, it's just certain things that you kind of look back on and you go, do I have regrets? No. Are there things that maybe given a parallel universe or a different chance that you would do it? I mean, maybe, yeah. Sure. But it's always good, like you said, to look into it, to at least view the options instead of just going, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think
it's the self-reflection.
Yeah, yours and my advice is probably very, very, very similar.
That's very odd, isn't it?
Not so much. Maybe we just adhere to the cliche, I guess. I think the human condition is there's so many persistent things that join us all together, which is why like horoscopes can have an impact on people, right?
You know?
Because usually what it says is a shared human experience, not necessarily an individual one.
Yeah, they're gross generalities.
Yep, and your brain will make of it what it needs to for it
It was
to.
like, ooh, that's me.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But
Is
I don't know. What about you when it comes to that? Is like I know some of the things that I would tell myself, but we had very different upbringings, very different like
yeah.
things that happened in our lives.
I would say mine would be dance. There was many parts of life because of the way that I was raised and what I was experienced to,
Mm-hmm.
that the expression of joy was um I don't know, it was something to be contained, right?
Mm-hmm.
The idea of embarrassment or like coloring outside the lines was um like the fear of that was so like beaten in
Mm-hmm.
that it wasn't until I was in my 20s, like mid 20s, it'd be 2012, 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mid to late 20s. Um that it clicked in.
Mm-hmm.
We were it was the first like big vacation that I had really taken, and we went on a cruise, and I had family there, and my niece was there, and the cruise starts off with like this dance party, and she was looking very uncomfortable. She looked miserable. Everyone's like dancing and like celebrating like all around, but you could
Yeah.
tell like she felt very out of place. And that's when it all clicked in that like I saw me when I saw her, and
Mm,
like that her look was too
yeah.
familiar to me, and that's when it clicked in. Um, so like I engaged with her then to like make it more like joyful and playful, and for her to open up,
Yeah.
and that was for me as much as it was for her in that moment. But like that's when I really began to like understand things and the consequences of like my own fears and anxieties, and like where that was rooted from, and all of that, and all of the things I didn't do out of the fear that it wouldn't be accepted or that I would be
Mm-hmm.
embarrassed. Literally like expressing laughter would get me into trouble. So like over time, like like would I hold it in like I do a sneeze, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Which isn't
so
good for you.
no, it's terrible for you, but it doesn't impact other people if you do, right?
Yeah.
I can't spread my germs if I don't blow snot out of my face.
Yeah.
Um,
Sure.
so like I will gladly pay the price, right, for it not to have
Mm-hmm.
a negative impact, which was like how I operated until Tracy's giving me dirty looks. Um,
Wait,
dirty
because
looks.
you're not laughing anymore, or dirty
No.
looks.
So what I began to understand was all of those things. So now I don't contain it. And there
Mm-hmm.
will be people that look at me like I'm fucking loco, like I'm off my rocker. And
Yeah.
I will contain my language more than I'll contain my laugh.
Yeah.
Which sometimes that becomes difficult because people see me laughing and then they'll begin to inquire. But the thing that I'm laughing about in my head is so funny, but I know that there's a decent chance that that person will choose to be offended by the thing that is making me laugh,
Yeah. Yeah.
even though it has nothing to do with them.
That's the difficulty, which I really hate. Is you always like you. It seems like we're stepping on eggshells just to make sure that nobody. And
Yeah,
but the laughter thing shouldn't be. I mean, the thing that makes it funny might not be funny to that person, which is fine. But should
yeah.
they be offended by it? No. Go jump.
It,
Go take a long walk off a short bridge.
Offense is a choice. It's
Like,
very simple.
yeah, it's just you choose to be offended or not. Like,
Yep.
and the infectious laughter thing is something that happened yesterday. We were walking through a shoe store. Just Rachel's looking for some new work shoes, and she said something, and immediately, as soon as she said it, she dropped her head and went, "Oh crap." And
Mm.
I just started busting up, and I literally could not stop laughing. And I tried to, and she says, "Are you going to stop laughing?" And I went, "Yes."
Yeah.
No. And I just kept going and kept going and kept going because of
Mm-hmm.
what she said. And people around the store were looking at me. And it's all,
Mm-hmm.
older ladies, or, mid 40s females and up, because
Sure.
the shoe store is over. And I'm like, okay, I need to stop laughing. And it just would not stop. And nobody ever,
Mm-hmm.
but the looks I got while I was walking out, still laughing my ass off, was crazy. And I'm like, they're probably thinking I'm just, like you said, loco, insane, crazy,
Yeah.
whatever you want. But it was fun because you saw some of the people smirk,
Mm-hmm.
and you saw Rachel just kind of put her head and hand in her heads and go like this and just keep shaking her head as she was walking, because she's like, he's with me. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it was fun.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
And it has the potential to improve other
Mhm.
people's day.
Yeah.
The
Oh.
for me, the idea of dance, it goes back to that moment, and since
Mhm.
then, like, I won't go to a wedding and not dance. Like, I, no matter the situation, and I'm not saying that I don't still have like the reservations, as much
Mhm.
as it's not a choice. And to be honest, I used to embarrass easily, and now I don't.
Yeah. Same here. Same
Because
here.
it's the idea of, like, if you judge me for an expression of joy or humility, like, that's on you. Like, that's a you thing that you got to figure that
Yeah.
out. That's gonna have no bearing on me,
It's
any stretch.
the things that you said about the dancer. They hit home with me as well, because of the fact that's I was always one of the happy, smiley, bouncing all over the place kids.
Hmm.
And then right in the middle years, teens, I was like, nope, got to get super serious.
Hmm.
Um, and now, literally, I mean, you've seen the photographic evidence because I've sent it to you from school. But
Hmm.
I tell my kids it's good to laugh at yourself. It's good to have fun and be
Yeah.
a little crazy when you have the time, when it's appropriate.
Hmm.
But it's okay to laugh at yourself and have fun. And if I would have told myself, that positive thing, that it's okay to laugh at yourself, it's okay to be the odd one out, it's okay to be the one that, people might not always understand, but
Hmm.
they're always wondering what's going on in your head. That can be okay, as long as it's, not harmful to others, but it's like, or harmful to yourself. But it's just, what can you do to, I think both of us have the same kind of thing, is that it's not just advice for our younger selves, it's what can we pass on to others.
Hmm.
Maybe not younger us, but younger versions of us that we see. Because you saw at the dance, you saw yourself,
Hmm.
and you had to help break that.
Well, she deserved
um
better than I did, and
well,
in that,
that's,
that.
but no, 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 people don't deserve better
Hold
just
up, hold
because
up.
you always do this to me.
Yes, you're fair. You're making a fair point. I'm giving clarity.
Okay, clarify.
So she deserved better than what I did to myself.
Well, yes, but it is also, she also has to make that choice.
She did.
Once you give her that advice, once you give her um that knowledge, that vision, that like thing, that this is what happened to me when I was younger, or you just engage with her
Hmm.
so that she sees that it's okay to be that way, instead of, saying, no, sit there and don't do anything. Then it's her choice to go and do that.
Yes.
So, and do we all deserve it? Uh,
To have joy, to
we
dance.
deserve to have joy, yes, but it doesn't mean. And I love that you said you were clarifying, and I'm going to clarify some more. Just because it's somebody else doesn't mean that they deserve it more than we did. Um,
Mm.
we
No,
just notice it now and want to pass that on. So it's
yeah.
not that they deserve it more, it's just that they deserve to have the knowledge.
Yep.
And then make their own choices from there, because we, like you said, or we said earlier, you can't make that choice for the person. So
She
what
deserved it too.
she
So
deserves it as well.
yeah,
Yes, not more than you.
I in that moment it clicked in and was overcome with the necessity to be the person that I wished I had in a specific moment of
Mm-hmm.
my life.
Yes.
That and that's what I mean. She deserved that. She deserved it
Okay.
more than what I allowed myself to do or
And
to have or to be or
that makes much more sense.
Mhm.
That, because the way that you say it that way makes much more sense, because I always go through like thinking that I don't deserve stuff.
Mhm.
That's just me.
Yeah.
But I want to obtain the knowledge and I want to pass that on. Now, do I deserve that knowledge? Maybe, maybe not. I want to be the one to go through and go, okay, this is what I want to look for. This is what I'm going to do. And then I want to pass it on to make sure that people have that knowledge as well. Whether we deserve it or not, that's up in the air. But
Yeah, I think
it's the knowledge that everybody is entitled. I don't want to use entitled either. Made aware of the knowledge.
mhm.
I think everybody should
At
be made
least
aware
to
of it.
know that you have a choice.
Yes, that you have that choice. It's okay to look like an absolute fool at a dance, because
Mhm.
most people are worried about themselves just going like this. Rock it out, dance your ass off. I don't care. Just have some fun.
It's probably the greatest thing, the only thing, not the only, I'm being a little dramatic because I hate social media.
And yet
But
we're on it.
the elements, as much as I don't like certain things, some of the like dancing like fad things. So recently there's been a big one with the show Wednesday.
Oh yeah,
There's a dance in there.
it's a
Yes.
great dance. Yeah,
And it's super quirky and awkward, but
and she did all of her own research on it and all that
yeah,
stuff. That's going back decades and stuff that
to pay
normal
homage
kids would
to.
not. Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
See, so those things in those moments when I see those things and they're like happy, healthy, like mindsets, those are the moments that I appreciate. And this one specifically is conveying like not only is it okay, but everybody's doing it. Like
Yeah.
everybody's like just let your freak flag fly for just a moment
Mm-hmm.
and do your quirky dance. Like
Yeah.
just do your thing.
Yeah, and it's we have, going back to, of course, my teaching stuff. We have
Imagine that.
assemblies. I know, right? Go figure. Go back. Whatever you said, 50 somewhat episodes that I might have been in, and or
Probably
50%
close
of the
to it.
episodes. Yeah, and it's like, hey, teaching. Um, at the end of every quarter, we have an assembly.
Mm.
And you always can tell. There's always the specific teachers that you can tell who are trying to, who are okay with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
In most every situation that you can find, they're okay with themselves, because the teachers are asked to do some pretty random things in some of the games that we do. And then this last one that we were asked like a week before the actual event to do a flash mob.
No way.
Where the student leadership was going to do this dance, and then we were just going to jump in, and they had no idea about it. They didn't know it was going to happen. So we all got together, planned, and there were only like 7 or 8 of us that decided that we were going to do it out of a staff of like 60 plus.
Wow.
There were only about 8 of us. And you could tell the energy that the kids got from just us doing that. Or when I got done with my teacher game that we were doing, coming up to my teacher game and going away from my teacher game, I did a kind of a weird dance to and from, and the kids went nuts. And then afterwards, we do activities. So you have like 50 minutes where you're allowed to do all these different things. And I didn't expect to get a whole bunch of kids, but there were about 20-25 kids in holiday karaoke.
Wow, that's pretty good, I feel like.
And you saw these kids sitting in the back, and they were just singing the songs, but they were just, and like really. So who were the first kids that I go to? Boom, right over to those kids. I'm dancing. I'm in all of my pink stuff, and they're like, "Holy crap, what is this guy doing?" And I'm going over and dancing and singing with them, and then spinning them around, and all of a sudden, everybody is out there doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that kid is the cool kid. That kid is the one that everybody wants to hang out with and talk to, because they were the first ones to get out there and do it. And it doesn't matter.
Way.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what I did. It matters who the person was to break the ice. And it was that one kid that I was like, oh, that's the one who's going to do it. That's going to be the kid that does this. Mm-hmm. Do I have to have some knowledge about that person? Oh, yes. Sure. Yeah. Because if they went, no, I don't want to do it. But no, this kid took off and went, and all of a sudden everybody was around him, and they were dancing, they were singing. That is something that you cannot, we can't go back and change that about ourselves. Mm-hmm. But you can give that feeling, you can give that sense of urgency, like you did to the young lady that you worked with, just like I did, to tell them, hey, it's okay to do that. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to, like you said, let your freak lab fly. Love the alliteration. But
and though you can't go back to change those qualities or those situations for yourself, you can do it moving forward.
Absolutely.
Just because we're adults doesn't mean we still don't have those like hesitations or reservations. And that is not always about dancing, right? Sometimes it's about trying that food that you never had. Or
getting up in front of a group of adults to teach them something.
Yep. Or it could be going to an event that you typically wouldn't when somebody invited you. Or maybe it's going ziplining or snowboarding or sledding or going outside and making a snow angel with a love. Like, it could be so many things.
Wait, Melvin, you go outside?
Do you see my complexion? No, I don't go outside.
That's not true. You were out for 12 hours yesterday.
Yeah, in a car. There was sun. So there's actually sun out this morning. I don't know if it's gone now, but it was right earlier.
We're getting snow for the next 4 days, 5 days here. Ooh. So I'm not going to be seeing a lot of it. But yeah, I'm glad you guys got it.
For a minute. But it's those things. Well.
It's not just those things, but it's
it's kind of going back to the idea of part one, which was on change in moments over time, and it's the incremental changes over time, which for me, probably the most impressive person that I know is actually Tracy. And when we had first got together, there were so many things that she had like her own reservations about, and then over time, seeing like those things melt away down to like I have stupid memories because to me they were significant in moments. So we were at this is going to sound silly to most people, but again, I'm saying incremental changes. We were at a place called the Creek. Okay. And I think it was ahi tuna that they had, and she had gotten it. And like that sounds silly, like why is that significant at all? Because it was, for me, it was an acknowledgement, it was a tangible embodiment of somebody overcoming their own obstacle. And then when we went on a
something she never tried, something she never liked, something that she
just like overcoming that. And then like flying is not her thing, and when we took our trip we flew, and then we were on a boat, which was also another giant thing for her. She tried so many things, even the way she approaches friends and family, and like her intentionality in navigating work and having like a like positive oriented mindset. Like I could literally go on for days and like all of these incremental things, and when you look at them, they don't feel incremental, they feel huge in nature.
For the person that she is and the person that she was, and now what she's what you know she's capable of.
Mm-hmm.
And I've only spoken to Tracy over, online or video conversations and stuff, but I cannot wait to get to meet her because of all the things you said about her, the good and the quirky stuff.
Oh, sure.
It just seems like you said, she has put a lot of time into, trying new things and going out of her way to maybe not be so restrictive on herself and just go, okay, I'm going to try everything, and if I don't like it, then I can say I don't, or but that's one of the things that we don't always think about when we're younger. It's like, no, we don't like this. Well, how do you know?
Yep.
You've never tried it. Like, how do you know you don't like broccoli? Because it's green. Don't care. Try it. Sure. Don't try it. If you don't like it, then you can say you don't like broccoli, but don't go through.
Even if you don't like it right now, try it again in next year and the year after that, right? Because you're going to change, you're going to evolve. Yeah.
And there's something, the unique experiences that you get to have is one of the things that I think everybody listening can say, okay, from here on out, I can't go back, but I can give advice to my future self. And say, maybe not give advice to my past self, or the giving advice to my past self is passing your knowledge down to the younger generations. But giving advice to your future self and saying, don't be afraid to have a new experience, like go ziplining. Even if you're afraid of heights, give it a shot. At least get up there and see if you feel like you can do it. I never liked going on things that were straight down, like
roller coasters.
Well, I still don't like roller coasters. I've tried plenty of them, and I don't like them just because of my inner ear and stuff problems. But
bungee jumping,
tried it once, and it was that up and down feeling that just threw my head, so I can't do it ever again. But so like water slides, stuff like that, I never thought I'd enjoy those because they were so vertical. They were so like that quick drop that just gives you put your stomach up in your throat. But I love those kinds of things now. Just the quick drop, and as long as there's no up and down, the swinging stuff where it's bobbing my head around. But go ahead and try some of those fun experiences. Now, I'm not saying go and do stupid stuff. Because you don't be safe, be smart. Don't do something that's going to hurt your body or get you addicted to anything. Please don't do that. But try new foods, try new experiences. If you've never flown, how do you know you don't like flying? Well, it's scary. How do you know? And then it's the one time whatever. But
and it's also okay if things are scary.
Yeah, things can be scary.
Yeah,
and I'm still scared to fly, but I do it.
There is no way that I can end this podcast better than you just did, which is under the guise of, it's too late to advise your past, but you can definitely advise your future.
It's a true statement. And I mean,
I love it. It's beautiful.
We all have things that we can learn from. And now that we know those things, or we can learn from older generations. Like, if you don't have somebody that you can look up to and talk to, go out and find somebody that you can start admiring, even if it's somebody at work, somebody at the gym, somebody that you play sports with, and if you don't have an activity outside of work, go find one. Like, go find something to be part of a community.
Sure.
I don't know, join the JTM community.
Hey, that's an option. Nice plug.
Thank you. It's a place where you belong.
Nice.
It's
building a community you can bank on.
There you go. It's something to do to not be isolated. And I think isolation is the biggest thing that we can teach ourselves. Is the last 3 years have sucked because of isolation. Get out and be part of something that you can either learn from someone or that you can slowly teach the younger generations. And if you think the younger generations are going to have a tough time, yeah, they are. So help them through it. Don't give them everything.
Well, they also have things we can learn from.
Exactly. They have tons of things that we can learn from them. But teach them the things that you wish you knew as a kid. Teach them how, because we can't do everything by ourselves. It, like the whole term says, it takes a village, and it takes a village to even raise adults. Like, I'm still learning from people around me, from teachers, from professionals, from friends, from coworkers, from whomever it is. I'm still learning. I'm learning how not to drive from the idiots on the road. It just goes through with that kind of stuff. So, like you said, give advice to your future self and be more open to those fun and life evolving experiences, so to say.
Don't be so afraid to live a life, for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, there's only one.
Don't say it. Do not say it. You can YOLO your ass right off this podcast.
YOLO.
Thank you so much, Will, for joining me for our 4-part series. Again, part 1 being on change in a moment or over time, as well as gratitude and taking things for granted. Part 2 being that on fate. Part 3 being holiday impacts and the idea of pay it forward. And then part 4 being the advice that you would give to your younger self, which inherently became also the advice you can give to your future self.
And the paying it forward became that same last topic as well, because that's something you can do to pay it forward is give your knowledge to people, give your advice, give your knowledge, give your time, give your energy. So
absolutely. As Will had said, don't hesitate to join our community. You can find the website at j-tm.community. If you want podcast specific stuff, just add /podcast to that. Top right hand side is where you will find all of the social medias. The easiest thing that you can do to be a part of the community and engage it in and incorporate that is to join the Facebook group. Every day you'll see some version of post. It's all oriented with a positive and change-oriented mindset. New poll for voting on podcast topics goes live typically every Monday at 8 a.m. as well. At that same exact time is when episodes also go live. You can watch on YouTube or listen on Spotify.
And that's 8 a.m. Eastern, correct?
Yes, 8 a.m.
Because I know I get I'm just getting up at 8 a.m. Eastern, your guys' time, at 5 a.m. for us, and that's when I'm either up or just getting up, and that's when it's hitting right on my screen. It's like, oh, you have a message. Okay, cool. There it is. Click. I would like to vote. So
it's definitely 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you again, Will, for engaging with this particular mini-series, and thank you for everyone who has tuned in and for being part of a community where you belong.